Welcome back. Wow, I could not have timed that better. With the guys in the back going huh, huh. It's like perfect too. Tala, thank you for the 1 year. Yo, welcome back to the Legend of Legaia Let's Play. We have so much to talk about today. Holy cow. Like, you have no idea. I am just brimming with excitement and information. So, we have a bunch to talk about with the PS5 reveal. But before we get to that, there's something very important we need to talk about that none of you know about. Last night, pet friend Amy, resident evil scientist, pet friend Amy, messaged me with an absolute bombshell that might be completely destroying Final Fantasy VII New Game Plus, which I can't believe I'm saying, because, like, the amount of stuff that's happened to Final Fantasy VII over the past couple months is insane. Like, it's not like people just picked up Final Fantasy VII recently and started doing a lot of stuff to it. Like, Final Fantasy VII has been pushed to its limit for 20 years. So, if you would have asked me before the remake came out, like, is anything going to be found, you know, because the remake's coming out and more people are playing it, I would have said maybe, but probably not. But the amount of stuff that's happened, like, holy cow. Even before the remake came out, I found smuggling and the double chocobo glitch. And then, ever since then, it's just been crazy find after crazy find. Cosmo Canyon skip was found. Mansion skip was found and any percent got completely destroyed. Smuggling happened and New Game Plus got completely destroyed. And it just keeps going and going. And just recently, a couple days ago, Cosmos Canyon skip was found on PC. So now for no warps, that category has been destroyed by like 30 minutes. Nothing compares to what I'm about to tell you if it works out, and we're going to be testing it later today. And for those of you watching this on YouTube, you might be seeing a new speedrun video up soon. I don't know if I'm going to like make a video about it particularly, because it's not like flashy, like it's not like a new thing, it's more just a new route. But long story short, basically, Pet Friend found out that you can game over and keep the Nibelheim flashback glitch. So there's a glitch where you do the Nibelheim flashback, but you do it backwards, and the game gets confused, and then it allows you to wrong warp to the end of the game. Well, that glitch itself dissipates if you go through a field. So like if you go to Rocket Town or you go to Cosmo Canyon or whatever, that glitch will wear off. So that's why in New Game Plus we go back to Nibelheim to do that glitch to then do the wrong warp at the very end of the game. But what we didn't know is that if you're on the world map with that glitch active and you game over and you load another save that's also on the world map, it stays. And it's funny because, like, when she told me, I was like, well, there's no way no one tried that. Like, out of all the people that are currently trying to route New Game Plus, because it's a pretty popular, you know, it's getting popular ever since we made the initiative to make the category. There's no way no one ever tried that. Like, you know, why wouldn't they? But sure enough, no one did. And as far as I can tell, it works perfectly fine. So we're gonna test a route today to see what happens. But long story short, we should be able to do Midgar, leave Midgar, immediately load a save in Nibelheim and do the glitch, and then immediately load another save with a gold chocobo, take the gold chocobo over to the wrong warp, do the wrong warp, game over during the wrong warp, load our Midgar save, and go right to the debug room, which would completely skip Rocket Town, which, you know, we've been saying for a while. That's like the big, if we could find a way to skip Rocket Town, that would be the big skip. Like that would be huge. You wouldn't have to worry about Palmer. You wouldn't have to watch all those cutscenes. You wouldn't have to do the Tiny Bronco stuff. None of that. That's the one big thing, because we pretty much know we can't skip Midgar. But Rocket Town was the only thing left. We finally cut out the whole rest of the game. Rocket Town was the only thing left that we needed to cut out before the game is literally just Midgar. And sure enough, if this works, we should be able to skip Rocket Town, and the game will literally just be Midgar. And it will save, I don't know how long Rocket Town is, 10, 15 minutes? Like, it's not even as much about the time it saves, it's like the fact that we don't even have to do Rocket Town now. We don't have to prepare for Palmer, we don't have to pick up ethers for that fight, we don't have to worry about setting up that fight or anything, we don't have to watch all those cutscenes. Like, Rocket Town just doesn't exist. We get out of Midgar, the game's over, basically. Like, all we have to do is leave Midgar and fight one fight, and the rest of the game is just the wrong warp, and all the setup in the wrong warp. So, like, yeah, if this works, it's going to be truly insane, and the category's going to be blown wide open once again. So, I'm excited. I'm just a little bit excited to play Final Fantasy VII later. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, and I mean, people like to ask, like, do you think we're at the end of finding stuff for the game? And I definitely think not. Like, this, you know, I've learned my lesson saying that we're not going to find anything in Final Fantasy VII because it's been 20 years and we still find more and more stuff. But I think in terms of New Game Plus, we might have reached a limit because there's no way to skip Midgar. Like, as far, I mean, you'd really have to find something insane in order to be able to skip Midgar. We've looked into it many, many times, and basically the issue with skipping Midgar is that the flag to put the game in the right game state in order to let you leave is right after Motorball when you're standing on the highway, and there's just no way to get to that field other than beating Motorball and doing the motorcycle minigame. So, you know, there's just kind of like no way to like just walk through the door and get out of Midgar. So unless we find a way to skip Midgar, what in the world is this alien machine? He who seeks the warrior square must sate the sage's hunger, then the sage's gate will open. There are 8 more hungry sages. Okay, so this is those chests. So yeah, unless something insane is found, we've basically we've found the limit to New Game Plus, because all we do is Midgar and then skip to the debug room. So like, there's nothing left to take out. It's as broken as it's ever gonna be. So yeah, just absolutely insane. I still can't believe it. I can't wait to try it out later and see what we can find. We have to find a way to basically make this save with the golden chocobo as fast as possible. So Pet Friend already put some work into that. She found out, like, having one character and the gold chocobo, you can find the wrong warp fight and then immediately like bolt through yourself. You don't necessarily want like one character with 1 HP, because if you get into a fight that isn't the wrong warp fight, you'll get killed. So you want a character with some HP, but then as soon as you find the right fight, just like bolt to yourself or whatever. So yeah, we'll have to look into that and see what we find. Yeah, I saw that. The Overlord did the replace the scenery. He didn't say what yet though. So yeah, that's that bombshell. That blew my mind this morning. Or last night. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the PS5 reveal. So, yesterday was the PS5 reveal, and we have been talking a lot about it. The big gripe that I had beforehand, because what always happens with these reveals is like they just lie a lot. So that was like the big worry, is that they were just gonna like drop a bunch of lies, as they always do. And don't get me wrong, like every company does that. Whenever you go to these like consumer shows, they always lie about stuff because they're trying to get you hyped to pre-order it and whatnot. But I'm still a little bit like sore over like the lies from the PS4 show. Wait, you want a refund? The pop-up wouldn't go away. Oh. Alright, well hold on. I gotta refund you then. Oops. Wrong button. So, where are you at? There you are. So, like, I'm still a little sore over PS4 because there was so much, like, issue with the PS4 and stuff that they said that never came true, and it just doesn't feel right, like, purchasing a game or purchasing a console over all these like promises and not really get any of them. So that was kind of the big worry going in. The other big worry I had was that it was going to continue the trend of like nothing but remakes and remasters that we've seen for a while. It's fine to have like some remakes and remasters because they're really hot right now. But with a new console, and Solid Snake pointed this out more than me, with a new console, you really need new IPs. You need something or even not even new IPs, but just a new game in a series that people want. You know, like Nintendo has a new Mario game or a new Zelda game or whatever. Something that's going to sell the console. A remaster of Dark Souls isn't going to sell the PS5, you know. Even though it's, you know, maybe exciting to that fan base. Yes, take the bread. So yeah, I have to go back through all this and find all these chests and put all the bread in. And then I believe the bread goes away, so you can't do the money trick anymore. But like I said, we're going to hold off on that just so that the run-through is a bit more casual, because you can really make a ton of money doing that and break the game pretty hard. So yeah, those are like my two big worries. Like, I wanted to see new games, and I didn't want to see them like make a bunch of promises. Well, I kind of got both. Both the things that I asked for, because for one, because it wasn't at an E3, you know, it was just a video, and there wasn't really anyone on a stage talking and just spewing out stuff. It was more of just talking about what they had already talked about and then showing a bunch of games. They definitely didn't lie about anything. The only thing they could have potentially lied about is like saying that the stuff wasn't recorded on a PS5, because they said all of it was. But as far as I saw, there was nothing that looked like really suspicious, like, hey, that doesn't look like it was recorded on a console. So, yeah, I mean, I think they did a good job with that. The bad side of that is that they didn't really say much to lie about, because they didn't really say much. They basically just told us what we already knew. But yeah, I wasn't expecting a ton of info. This is just the reveal, really. So I wasn't expecting a ton of info. And what they did say was really interesting. They did reveal, pretty much the only thing they really revealed that we didn't know before was the look of the PS5. Which, I'll get a picture here. Where'd that picture go that I saved? There it is. So here's, it's a stupid file. Can I even use this kind of file? It's one of those stupid WebM files. You know, those things that no one uses? Yeah, I don't even think I can use that file. Unbelievable. Now I gotta find another picture. Wow. Where's all that? I googled this last night and there were like pictures all over the place. What did they like? Take all the pictures down or something? Alright, well this isn't as good as a picture, good of a picture, but we'll use this one. So this is what it looks like. This picture kind of blows, so it's like really blurry, but you get the general idea. It's pretty mixed with everyone. Like, a lot of people are saying it looks really good, and a lot of people are saying it looks really bad. I like the look of it. I think the only thing that I don't really like is, like, how different it is. Which it sounds like that's what they were going for. They said it was, like, their most ambitious design. And that's fine. But one thing I always liked about my PlayStation consoles is that they all look nice on a shelf because they all look semi-similar. And like having the PS1, PS2, PS3, and PS4 all laying down next to each other looks really nice. This console looks like really terrible when it's on its side. And it's fine for it to be standing up, but now I'm going to have like PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, and then like the PS5 would be standing. So, like, at least for me personally, at like a visual look, I don't know. It's a little too different for me, I guess. But, I mean, that's fine. They're trying to, like, do something different, and they've been the same for so long that I don't really, like, give them that much of a... I'm not, like, that upset that it's different, you know what I mean? Just saying, I guess that's my one gripe. But I think it looks cool. I get the only other thing that they kind of revealed is that there's a digital version of the console. And I don't know what that's all about. They said PS5 regular and then PS5 digital version. And the digital version looks the same exact as the regular, but it has no disc drive. So I'm guessing what it is if you know for sure you're only going to download digital games and you're never ever going to play a single game on disc, you could buy the digital version and it's probably just semi-cheaper. Which I think is a good idea. I think it's a good middle ground, because some people are like, I don't buy physical stuff anymore, and some people are like, if it doesn't have a disc drive, I'll never buy it. Like myself. So, I think it's a good medium to have like two versions. I really don't feel like a lot of people are gonna buy the digital version unless it's a lot cheaper. Here's the thing. I don't know that much about Sony technology, but disc drives are not that expensive. Now, given this is like their own disc drive thing, and it's a Blu-ray reader, Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive. So it's a little more expensive than like a computer disc drive. But I can't imagine it's going to be that expensive. So I don't see the digital version being that much cheaper than the physical version. And I feel like most people are going to be like, well, there's going to be at least one time where a buddy comes over with a disc. Like, there's going to be at least one time that I want to watch a movie on this thing. So, like, I don't know. I don't see that many people getting too excited about the digital one. Like, wouldn't you rather have, like, the disc drive at least to, like, play movies? I mean, I know you could just get Netflix, but, like, certainly you're going to have friends that have discs, or you have a disc of a movie you'd like to watch. So, I don't know. I think some people will definitely like it, and I'm glad they have the option, but I don't see it being super popular. I guess if you still have your PS4, you could just use that as your movie player. But see, what's cool is the PS5 apparently comes with like a remote, so that'd be really nice for a movie player. So I don't know. I do not want to attack Spoon. So I don't know, I guess we'll see. I mean, part of me says, like, how dare they have a digital version? This is going to set a precedent that later we don't want discs and they're ruining video games. But I think from a business standpoint, I think it was pretty smart. Stand up. So yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, me personally, I kind of wish they didn't have a digital version because I don't like digital. Like, I want to keep everything physical forever. And this is setting a dangerous precedent. Like, if a lot of people buy the digital version, they might make the PS6 only digital or something. I mean, that's far down the road, but still. But I think from a business standpoint, it was pretty smart to have a digital version. I just don't know how much cheaper it's going to be. I don't feel like it's going to be that much cheaper, but I guess we'll see. How many do I have? Oh, I'm not even close. I didn't feel like I was, but I don't know which ones I'm missing. I guess I'm like too far down. So anyways, that's that. Before I talk about the games, because that's really all they showed was games. My one big worry about the PS5, when we were talking before the reveal, one of the big things that came up was, like, a lot of people think that it's too early for the PS5, and that they're kind of pushing it out quickly to make money or to deal with the Switch and Xbox's console. A lot of people are saying, like, it's too early for a PS5, and I have to admit I kind of agree for a couple of reasons. Historically in the past, video game consoles are successful if they're a step up, if they're different than what was before. That's what gets people to buy it. If it's just a souped up version of what already exists, a lot of times it fails. The PS1, for example, was one of the first extremely popular disc systems, and it was also the first Sony console. And so that was like a big deal. And then the PS2 could play DVDs. That was a big deal. And then the PS3 had in-the-box online capabilities and a dashboard. So that was a big deal. And then the PS4 had full HD, better UI, better different controllers. You know, I think it's fair to say the PS4 was a pretty big step up from the PS3, even though there wasn't like a big difference. easier to remove hard drive. I think like the biggest thing with the PS4 was just it was easier to program on, because the PS3 was really, really hard to make games for historically. And so the PS4 was more of a step up for the actual designers, not as much for us. But yeah, so each step of the way there's been like a big step up. We haven't really seen what makes the PS5 the PS5 yet, and that kind of worries me. A lot of what I'm excited about with the PS5 is stuff coming back from the PS4, you know? So, I don't know, it's like, I guess we'll see. But yeah, I'm not super sold on, because like, it's looking like the PS5 is going to be pretty expensive. And historically, consoles have failed if they're not a big step up from their predecessor. So the fact that it's not a big step up from its predecessor yet, and it's expensive, worries me. And that's not to say it's bad or anything, just saying that's my big worry going into it. We'll see what happens, but that's basically the only like negative takeaway I took. Is I'm just worried that it's not different enough. I think what they're putting a lot of money into it for being new is like the graphics, all the different steps ahead we've made in graphics and stuff. But you have to understand there's a lot of people that don't care about that, and they especially don't care to spend $500 for better graphics. There has to be that big incentive, and Sony has been terrible for a while with release games. So if there isn't something like big at release that's going to push this console, I don't see people going out and spending $500 for a better graphics PS4. Not to mention the PS4 Pro is still pretty new, and a lot of people still, you know, don't feel like the PS4 Pro is aged at all. And so that's my worry going into it, is that I think they might have issues selling the console if they don't really show us something that's totally super different. Now, the opposite of that, if they don't show us something different, one thing that they could do to fix that is to actually go into what this backwards compatibility is. Because if it's backwards compatible with PS4, then that opens up a whole new can of worms. Because now everyone can trade in their PS4 for a PS5, and that's a big difference, right? The thing with the PS4 is like you couldn't trade in your PS3. A lot of people still did, but you know, it was hard to turn in the PS3 for the PS4 because it was such a different console. But if the PS5 really is completely backwards compatible with PS4, that will make it worth, you know, even if it's not super different, if people can trade in their PS4, that'll help push the console a lot too. So, and like I said, this is just from a business standpoint. For me, I don't care. You know, for me, I'm going to keep my PS4 because it's my favorite console of all time. But just from a business aspect, looking at it like that, I feel like those are the two things they need to do to push this console. Well, three things. Either A, make the console a lot different from the PS4, or show us something that's like really brand new and innovative. B, make it completely backwards compatible with the PS4 so people can trade it in. Or C, give us like a huge release game that makes it so like everyone has to purchase the PS5. You know, a brand new Mario Zelda game, but Sony. Which, unfortunately, Sony just doesn't really have anything like that at the moment, other than GTA, which they did talk about. But, like, well, they have one thing, so we'll get into the games now. So, pretty much this reveal was mostly just games, which I'm really happy about. That's what they really needed to do, was show games. And they delivered, like surprisingly delivered. I was shocked. Jay Bark, thank you so much for the 14 months. Oh, and CJ, thank you for the 4 months. I forgot to thank you for that. Thanks, my man. They really need to get up. They really needed to push games because historically they've been terrible with release games. The PS4, there was absolutely nothing to play for like the first 2 weeks of the console, and the PS3 didn't do very much better either. So they really needed to show some good games, and unfortunately it looks like a lot of the games that they showed are not going to be release games, but at least they'll be close. They'll be holiday 2020, so that you have something to look forward to when you buy your PS5. Probably the biggest games they mentioned were Demon Souls, some kind of remake of Demon Souls, which is really cool, and obviously gets a lot of people excited. And that's definitely a big IP that they can shove down our throats and be like, Sony, you have to buy this for Demon Souls. GTA apparently is getting a like boost on PS5, which I'm not surprised by, but I guess a lot of people will be excited about that. Resident Evil 8, which looked really cool, and a lot of people will be excited about that. That's a big Sony brand name they can push. And probably the biggest thing for me, what I think personally is the biggest thing for them, is the new Horizon game, because I think that now, more so than Demon Souls, more so than GTA, Horizon is really like Sony's big like thing that they can brag about. Be like, we had Horizon, like that. What's good about the PS4? It has Horizon. So I think that that's really big for them, having a new Horizon game. And I don't think they teased the release of Horizon, and I think they did that on purpose because I think it's going to be a release game. And if it is, that's huge. To have a release Horizon game with the PS5 would really help to sell the console big time. So I'm really hoping that's what they're doing with the Horizon game. So we'll see. Probably the one I was the most excited about was the Ratchet and Clank announcement. Which, holy cow, that game looked incredible. I was worried at first because the Ratchet and Clank game that just came out a bit ago, that was with the movie, was terrible in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion. Even if you did like that game, it was definitely a step down from the other ones. So this game did not look like the sequel to that game. It looked like the sequel to Into the Nexus, which was the final like mainline real Ratchet and Clank game. So that's a step in the right direction, going away from the movie and making a new real Ratchet and Clank game. And the trailer was so cool with them jumping in and out of portals and stuff, and how like amazing that all looked. So yeah, that was really, really neat. That, honestly, out of all the games, that one had like the most exciting trailer, which was shocking, with like Resident Evil 8 and Demon Souls and Horizon. Honestly, I think Ratchet and Clank had the best trailer. That trailer was awesome, and it actually showed like a lot of gameplay. The other ones didn't show as much gameplay. That one showed like a lot of gameplay. So that was really cool. There were a lot of like indie looking games, which is good. Good to see that they are still embracing indie games as much as they always have. They've always been a step up from everyone else with indie games, and it's good that they're still sticking to that. Probably the coolest, like, I don't even know if you really call it indie, because it looked really nice, but it was created by a group that created a Majora's Mask video. So like, I'm pretty sure it's a pretty small group. But that game, what's it called? Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. That game looked really, really, really cool. And then there was also Project Athia, or Athia, which is Square Enix's hat in the ring. Does anyone know if Square Enix is actually developing that, though? Or what? Or are they just producing it? Because, like, it showed two... I kind of missed it because they showed it really fast, but it was Square Enix and then another group. And I don't know if the other group was the developer or if that was something else. Does anyone know? Luminous is the dev. So Square Enix is just publishing it then. So it's not an in-house Square Enix game, but still a Square Enix game. They're just not developing it. But that looked amazing. We only got a little bit of a look at it, but man, did that game look really cool. So yeah, they overall they did a really great job showing games that we cared about, new IPs, indie stuff. Like, they had it all. And like I said, one of my big worries was new IPs, and they definitely showed some cool stuff. Square's game, the Kenna game. There was a couple more. What was that one that people were talking about? Someone put it in the chat. Pragmata. Or Pragmata. That one looked really cool too, and that was a brand new thing. So a lot of new like IP stuff to actually make the PS5 stand out. So overall, it was a really great show. Like, they didn't sit there and talk and give a bunch of false promises. They let the games do the talking, which is what they said. Overall, it was good. I guess, you know, other than the stuff I talked about earlier, my only complaint with the show itself is that they didn't talk a lot about stuff. They didn't show too much new stuff. But it's just the reveal. I didn't expect much. I certainly didn't expect the price because, you know, they're waiting for Xbox. They're waiting for Microsoft, and they're waiting to see what people are willing to pay first. So I definitely didn't expect the price. But I'm glad they at least showed the look of the console after all the goofy pictures that were circulating online. It's good that they finally said, like, no, it doesn't look like a toilet seat. I will say it definitely looks a lot better than the toilet seat model. So they got that going for them. Definitely looks better than that. Yeah, what do you guys think about the controller? I'm still, like, super mixed on the controller. I really do not know what to think of the controller. At first, I didn't really like the colors, but now that I see the console, it makes sense. You know, they're going for more of a white look. God, those kicks were so fast. I think I'm going to have to hold it to really, like, see, because they're going for more of, like, a big, bulky, which normally I don't like. I like the smaller controllers better than the big controllers. That's why I don't really like the Xbox controllers much. But it could be, I mean, it looks comfortable, so I don't know. We're just gonna have to see. But the actual look of it, I'm not sold on it. I don't know. I'm totally mixed there. I don't know what to think. I at least understand the color palette now. And I'm sure they'll have a bunch of different colors. But don't knock, thank you for the tier 2 21 months. Appreciate it so much, dude. Alright, we need to kill this with not Bon. Actually, I wouldn't mind getting this with Noah just because she goes first. Get that nice heal right away. Yeah, like I said, I actually kind of like the look of it. I just think it's a bit different than the other consoles, which I think is what they were going for, but I guess personally I would have rathered it look semi-similar, or at least look good sitting down. I think it looks really bad sitting down, which is saddening for me, because I think having all the consoles sitting down next to each other is really nice, and that's not really going to work out. Alright, I feel like I've been through all these freaking doors. What am I missing here? I think one of these I just didn't go... I think I missed one. So, yeah, I just think it's going to be a bit awkward sitting next to the other consoles. But, again, like, that's not a deal breaker. And I like that they're trying something different. Yeah, and I like that it still looks like a console and not a computer. I hate that Xbox's looks like a computer. And it's not just because I'm a console, you know, addict or whatever. It's just because I think that's a bad business decision. Because when you go to the store and you look at it, you just think, like, why not buy a computer? Like, you know what I mean? Because it looks so much like a computer. It almost just feels like you should just buy a computer. So I just think from a business aspect, it's kind of a bad idea. The PS5 looks like nothing else on the planet. So, like, you look at it and you think, like, I have to have that because there's nothing else even remotely similar to that. You know? You're gonna... It almost... To somebody that doesn't know a lot about gaming, you might look at that thing and be like, that thing is going to play games that nothing else can play. Like, that thing is going to take me to another planet, you know? Whereas the Xbox, it's like, well, that just looks like my son's computer, you know? It's basically the real-life game sphere, basically, yeah. Yeah, and I think the PS5 will look better next to a TV, too, if you're looking about, you know, curb appeal. Like, the Xbox looks so terrible sitting next to a TV. It's like, why is your computer next to your TV? It should be in your office, you know? So. I definitely think they did better than Xbox. But I do think it's divisive enough of a design where some people are going to be like, wow, that's really ugly. So, that might lose them some points. Because I think, like... Nice. Even though they're doing something different, I think, like, there's something to be said about the PS4 and the PS3 where they look kind of simple enough to where anyone could buy them and not be offended, you know? Like, you could put a PlayStation on a shelf of someone's house that isn't into gaming and they won't be like, yeah, that's my alien box. Oh, that's the issue. I think that other chest I haven't even opened yet. It was closed, and I thought it was, like, finished, but I haven't even opened it. Now it all makes sense. Also, Noah got spooned, so that's really, really nice. I'm gonna try summoning Spoon so we can see what he does. But if I remember correctly, he's just a... Yeah, he's an even better... Oh, wait. Oh, he's a better orb. Wow, Spoon is even better than I thought. I thought Spoon was a better Vera. So I thought Vera healed one ally a little bit, and then Orb healed everyone quite a bit, and then Spoon healed one character a ton. But Spoon heals everyone. Wow. Epic Spoon. Spoon is the sauce, dude. Oh, no. Now I can't see Spoon! You just had to do it. You had to ruin the Spoon. You hated the PS3? I think the PS3 is the ugliest of the Sony consoles. I would agree. What's your guys's what's your rating of the Sony consoles, like in order of look? What's your order of PlayStation consoles? I think mine would be PS4, PS4 Pro, PS1, PS2, PS3. PS5 to be determined once I actually see it. I like that it showed Vaughn for a second. Like, yep, he's still stoned. That's one Fox. I hope you enjoy the new Fox emote. Man, Gala putting down the damage. Ah, crud. Think I can kill him with a flying knee attack? Probably not. I've never felt so alive. Why are you attacking Stone Vaughn? Very good. This guy's about to feel the pain. Okay, it wasn't that much pain. Is he fighting with the baby rattle? Maybe. It's possible. Yeah, I don't know. I just think the PS4 looks really nice. And, like, it looks like a powerful console, I guess. The PS4 Pro, I personally like, especially the special editions. I have the God of War version. But if we're just talking about, like, the way the regular console looks, the PS4 Pro is kind of like just a fatter PS4. So I was kind of like, I think they could have done a bit more with it. They just added another layer, like, that's kind of a lame... I mean, I guess there wasn't a lot they could do, but... yeah. It's just kind of funny that it's just like another layer and they're like, done. Yo, Braden Cloud, thank you for the 33 months. Appreciate it so much. I saw some picture the other day where they were like, it was that meme of those guys in the office and they're like, how do we make the PS4 look better? And then they're like, a new design, or, you know, oh, here's a good idea, and then the third guy was like, just add another layer. Look at those eyes. Oh my god. Yep, Spoon is OP. So, yeah, I don't know, but, and then, like, the PS1 is just classic for me. Like, I think the PS1, well, the look of the PS1 will never die out. Like, just that gray box with the big disc tray, like, I don't know, there's just something cool about it. It gives me the same feeling of, like, an Atari with, like, its wood, you know, the wood on the front and everything. Like, it just gives me that gray box, just brings me back to childhood. Everything was a gray box. And then the PS2, like Retro said, like, the PS2 just fits so nicely on, like, everything. Like, any stand you can find, any entertainment stand you can find, the PS2 fits, like, super nice. Then the PS3, I've always thought was kind of the ugliest one. Never liked the look of the PS3, and it's so bulky, but then like awkward at the same time. Oh, don't like PS3 much. And I think the original PS3 was a bit better with like the gloss look, but the ones now are just kind of like not kind of ugly. Yo, Deluge with the 1 year. That's the second 1 year today. Thank you so much, dude. Thanks so much for being here for a whole year. Also, I don't know what it is with the PS3, but I swear it's a dust hog. Like, even more so than the PS2 with its big fan in the back. Like, something about the PS3, I am always wiping dust off the top. Like, the PS2 gets really dusty in the back, and the PS4 gets really dusty in the seams. But the PS3 just gets like a layer of dust on top all the time. I'm missing one. Alright. We shall find it. Yeah, Deluge can be Leviathan. Fits. Now that I realize that the closed ones are obviously shiny, and the ones that aren't shining means I just haven't even opened it yet. Okay. So these floors are good. It's hard when you're getting into all these fights and you're talking about PlayStation. Like, it's easy to get lost and forget which floors I've been on. Does anyone else have the problem where, like, whenever they get into a fight, they forget if they were going, like, up or down on a screen? That happens to me all the time. I'll be going one way and then I'll get out of the fight and be like, which way was I going? Newer games, not so much, because things look more unique, but some of these old games, some of them, the screens look similar, and then I don't know where I've been. Yeah, it depends on the game, for sure. And it depends on how long the fights are. Like, this game, the fights are pretty long, so it's easy to, like, forget where you were going when the fight's finally over. Final blast. Think of the host, Bearded. This is an okay place to get lost because I need some levels and I need Spoon. The next boss is no joke, as they all are in this game. So yeah, for those of you that weren't here in the morning, we got 2 new emotes. We got the sauce and we got the fox. And also, later today, we're going to be trying potentially a brand new, completely, like, insane skip in Final Fantasy VII that could potentially save all the time in New Game Plus. So we're going to be doing that later. Oh, that block. I'm still pretty dumbfounded about that Final Fantasy VII thing. I don't know what that's going to mean for the run. Like, we don't even have to set up for Palmer anymore, so all the theory crafting I was doing yesterday about the ethers and stuff, or on Wednesday, is pretty much null and void now. I don't have to worry about that. Okay, the other issue is that I think we skip over this floor. We skip over one of these floors with those stairs. think. Yeah, this one. So, like, just because you go up the stairs in these rooms doesn't mean you're going up one flight outside the rooms. So that's kind of confusing, too. Use your spoon. Yeah, Battle Sim is pretty fun. I spent a lot of time, obviously, with that. Especially with the new strat we just found. Some pretty good theater damage. Alright, so I don't want to kill these guys because I want to try to get them with Gala, so we're just going to do a power punch and a little flippy do. Sasaruga! I wish I knew what he said there. That's like one of my favorite call-outs. I just realized the way that Spoon walks is hilarious. He walks with like his hands behind him. Looks so goofy. Yeah, they like strut. Hopefully that's enough. Yeah, I think it is. It's falling over. What's wrong with you, Gala? You have the highest intelligence. You can never absorb anything. See? So this one is like super tricky to find, because if you go through the first door from the bottom, you don't find it. It's in an awkward spot. And they really want me to have Spoon, but it's not working out. Yeah, we didn't do too bad, especially with me talking about the PlayStation. I still found them relatively fast. I think when I first did this, it took me quite a while to find all the chests. And plus, I first had to figure out what I was supposed to do with the chests. Luckily, I already knew. I remembered, but it took me a while to realize you're supposed to put the bread in there. Yeah, I honestly, I think that's the case. I think they did this on purpose so you could get some levels, because the next boss is really hard. And they wanted to make sure. They're like, okay, we'll put one of the best summons in the game down here and then make it like really confusing so they almost have to get Spoon. before they get out of here. Like, I think this is basically the spoon dungeon. The game developers doing their best to get you spoons so you don't die later. Tornado of flame. It never gets old. Yo, OMG, thank you for the 2 months. Appreciate it. See, I think that's all I had to say about the PS5. But in general, you know, just as being a fan of Sony, being a Sony fanboy pretty much my whole life, I'm excited. I got a nice feeling of excitement that I haven't had in a long time. It's been a while since we had a new console. I guess the Switch is really the last big console I can think of that had a big release and stuff, because the Wii U was like and Xbox consoles really have just been upgrades to the Xbox for a while, so yeah, we haven't really gotten a new big next gen here we go console in a while, and so it's an exciting time. It's just nice to be back in my kid's shoes and get all excited about watching a new console release.